Hello everybody, my name is World Gamer, and today I just had a very interesting conversation with one of my fans. His name is No the Vampire, and he had some very interesting questions for me, and he came to me, and hopefully I can answer them for them. So let's go through the conversation right now. As you can see onto this side, I'll be reading from that conversation as we had it. He says, "Don't be shocked, but I need help getting out of Mormonism. It's because I don't believe in that stuff." And of course I replied, "Well, that's good, because Mormonism is ridiculous." Obviously, there's reasons for me saying that. I hope there's no Mormons out there being, offensed? But don't worry, there are reasons why I'm saying it. We'll get to that a little bit further. He also says, "What do you mean?" Well, Mormonism was invented by a con man named Joseph Smith. Con man, what does that mean? It means that he made a living off of scamming people to take their money. Oh, it all makes sense now. I'm glad he accepted what I said rather quickly. Of course, he's 14, by the way, so he, of course, doesn't know about all of this stuff behind it. And then I said, basically, it's the same as someone giving you a bottle of water and saying it will cure cancer as he asks you to buy it. Which, of course, it's the same thing as like giving someone like a pill of sugar, that's saying it'll fix a disease. It's basically the placebo effect and asking you to buy for it. That's what con men like to do, is they make lots of placebos, and I related that to Joseph Smith. Wow, that's bad. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. It takes advantage of people that will believe anything from a guy in a suit. Much like myself when I was younger, I also did. But glad nowadays I'm away from it. So hopefully I can help others do the same. Anyway, damn, that religion has a dark backstory. Pretty much any religion can go back to something like that, but Mormonism is more recent. But I don't know how to get out, he says. I know it's hard, because you'd have to confront your parents. And he says, it's not my parents. They aren't Mormons. I'm like, oh, well, then you can leave. No problem. Then just stop going to the church. And he says, okay, but they come to my house and ask why I haven't gone. So I understand this was a common problem that people in religious societies have, and so I tell them, just tell them that you're no longer a Mormon. And he says that's going to be difficult. And I ask, it's all part of the scam. They make it so that it makes you feel bad for leaving a group. This is very common in trying to mind control people, is by, even though those people may not like it anymore, they're going to make you feel bad for leaving anyway, which keeps people in a lot longer. You must respectfully tell them that you no longer believe in it and that they should stop asking you to come back. He says, oh, but it's because I'm kind of guilty and embarrassed. I said, don't be guilty about it. They have lied to you and taken your money for years. If anything, they should apologize to you. He says, I don't have money. He's like, well, I was like, well, anyway, in either case, they have taken up your precious time. And he says, true. Then I say, what you could use to support yourself with a job or something. He says, I'm only 14. I said, well, one day it will be if you were to keep going from here on out. And he says, I know. Then I go, and that's all part of the scam. It's called indoctrination. And every religion has it. And unfortunately, I was part of this, but at least I've grown away from my indoctrination. He says, but I'm scared because my sister is in it, and I know my family will tell me shit for being an atheist. And then I continue talking about indoctrination. I say, they bring up their kids because kids are very easy to influence and will believe anything and are told to reject anything that isn't what they believe, even if there is facts behind it. And he says, oh. And I said, of course, I'm having a hard time replying to him because he's given me several comments in a row, but I said, well, that's their problem, referring to, of course, if their parents are not okay with it or if the Mormons are not okay with him leaving. And then he says, you're right. I say, being an atheist is not something to be ashamed of. He says, I'm not. And I continue to say, it's the same thing as coming out to be gay. And he says, well, I'm bi. And of course, I'm like, well, and I say, I'm trying to continue with my previous comment. And I say, if your parents don't like it, it's their fault if you're gay. And of course, he replies, also that, how would I tell my parents I'm a bisexual? Those are my only questions. And I say, have a sit down with your parents and tell them about your feelings. That is not a choice. That being gay or being bisexual or being an atheist even is not a choice, but it is who you are. Well, okay, belief systems are your choice, but once you come to the realization that your belief systems are wrong, now it should be a part of you. kind of like how it became to me. Like once it was revealed to me that the evidence was to show that there was no God, and that God is irrelevant in the creation of the universe, now it became me. Now I am an atheist, and I can't just simply pretend. Basically, if I were to believe anything else, now it would be pretending. It would no longer be who I really am. And that's kind of what I was trying to say. If they are good parents, hopefully they will understand. If you tell them you're gay, hopefully they will understand that this is who you are, and they should care about you anyway, regardless of who you are. And he says, I know it's not. I'm pretty sure he's replying to me saying that it's not something you should be ashamed of. Then I say, and if they don't like it, well, that's their opinion or their problem. And he says, thank you. No parent should force you to become straight, just the same as no parent should force you to go to church. And then he says, but then do I tell the Mormon, or he says, when do I tell Mormons and my parents? And I say, and of course I'm continuing from my previous comment because of course I'm typing really fast. I was trying to keep up. And I said, but society as a whole hasn't figured out the second part yet. As soon as you can, and of course, replying to him, I said, as soon as you can, you should talk to the Mormons, talk to your parents, and hopefully they'll be in a good mood when you tell them that. Hopefully there won't be too much backlash from them if in case they're not okay with it anyway. He says, okay. And I say, don't live a lie any longer than you should have to. It's your life. Take advantage of it now. Someone will feel, tomorrow will feel exactly the same as today when you get there. And he says, all right, by the way, you should make a video on these topics, which is, of course, what I'm doing now. And I said, perhaps I should. Do you mind if I use this conversation in video? And, of course, he says yes. He's perfectly okay with me using his name in the video. So that's our conversation with them. Hopefully he'll be all right in telling the Mormons and his parents that he no longer believes in Mormonism. In fact, now he's an atheist, and also he's bisexual, something else he hasn't told his parents. And I hope that if you are having these same feelings, that if you no longer believe what your parents believe, or if you no longer want to hide, being who you are deep down inside, that I hope you will find the courage to let your parents or whoever is influencing you know that who you are is who you are, and hopefully they will be good people and understand it anyway. And if not, well, just live with them for as long as you can, and then when you can finally leave the house, and you can live your life in your way, the way you want it, and not the way other people want you to have it. It's your life, and as long as you're not hurting anybody, you can do whatever the hell you want, okay? You can believe whatever you want. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be Mormon. I'm not saying it's bad to be Christian, but as long as, I just hope that you don't use views like that to try to control other people, because that's my main gripe about religion, is that, religion is used as a tool to control others, to say, hey, for instance, in a heterosexual point of view, just strictly heterosexual, you're like, being gay is not for me, and you stop right there. But as far as religion is concerned, they could say, being gay is not for me, and you shouldn't be either. And that's my problem with that, is they try to tell other people what to do, and it's really hard for people to leave because they get scared, they're afraid, because that's the whole part of inventing, hell and eternal fire exist. They just want you to be afraid, and that's how I felt, personally. Because when I became an atheist, it was a slow transition in a way. When I started reading about, the evidence for evolution and the evidence for how the universe came to be without a God, it was a very painful experience. It was it really hurt inside, and my girlfriend could tell, and I was letting her know that, hey, my whole life is turning upside down right now. Like, it could be possible that there isn't a God. And for 21 years of my entire life, I believed that I knew God existed. I was 100% sure that God existed. And my whole life just turned upside down. I figured out that my whole life was a lie. And, it wasn't easy for me, but I had to come to terms with who myself was. And then eventually now I have to come to terms with who I am to other people. Now I have to let people know, hey, I'm an atheist now. This is why I believe it. And if you want to discuss it, fine, we can discuss it. But please, hopefully they'll accept me. But as of right now, some people are hating me about it. Some people don't like that I'm an atheist. Oh, well, that's just how they're going to have to be. And they'll just have to learn to accept it. But yeah, that's my video for today. I sure hope this video helped you out, and that people will come to terms with who you are. If you like videos like this, please let me know in the comments below. This is kind of the first time I've done something like this. And if you would like to support me and my channel, I have a Patreon. The link will be in the description. You can donate $1 a month to me. It doesn't really matter, but your support is always well accepted and definitely encourage me to continue making videos for you guys. I really do enjoy it, and I want this to be something that I can do for the rest of my life if possible, and that I can have all the time in the world for you. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed, and as always, I will see you guys next time.